And now it's time for Windy City Sports Talk. And your host, Ryan Young. Hello, Chicago! Welcome to this live Wednesday edition of Windy City Sports Talk for this October the 5th. I am Ryan Young. For the next half hour, going to recap and preview everything going on in the world of sports. Starting a little later, had some audio problems, but we're on. And I believe we are going to, I'll probably stay on for a half hour, so whenever this thing tells me a half hour is when I'll stop. Okay, of course, nothing really to talk about on the Chicago front today once again, and we won't really have any Chicago front news until we start breaking into the game about the Cubs on Friday. But tonight's game's definitely going to be big because we'll definitely find out. We'll finally have what we've been waiting for about 3 weeks now, and that is who are the Cubs playing division round on October 7th, which is finally this Friday. Well, we'll find that out in about 7 hours from now when the end of the Mets-Giants game, which should be one of the best, a very good pitcher's duel, probably the best wild card game we're going to get a chance to see. From a pitcher standpoint, we're going to recap last night's game between the Jays and the Orioles. So we got that coming up, and like I said, that one ended very excitingly. And then, of course, like I said, we're going to preview the National League wild card game for tonight, where the winner will be making their trip to the Windy City and face the Cubs on Friday. So let's start things off by talking, I guess there is a little Chicago news that broke today. Kevin White of the Bears is currently right now hurt. I'm going to try to see if I can get some news here. Let's see, I went to Bears.com. Is that going to be a real site? I guess not. Okay, I almost just got a virus, but so that's big that he got put on injured reserve. So that's a problem, and I think when you look at that for the Bears, once again, he's a guy that got drafted last year, was your number going to be your top receiver again, and then here he's hurt again, and I think that's definitely bad news for the Bears, and I can't find this on NFL.com, go figure, because that wouldn't be a top story, so. But I still think right now that's something you don't want to see. I mean, the Bears made a very positive turn last week did a very positive by being able to beat Detroit, and now you get a chance to finally see this team progress, and then all of a sudden they go back here. This is the report by Larry Mayer, the Bears senior writer. For the second straight year, Bears receiver Kevin White has suffered a serious leg injury that will sideline him indefinitely. The 7th overall pick in 2015 NFL draft was placed on injured reserve Wednesday after suffering a fractured left fibula and high ankle sprain in the second half of Sunday's 17-14 win. So again, that's a serious injury, and for Kevin White, I think, again, the Bears do have Alshon Jeffrey, who is their main receiver, but that gave Kevin White opposite because you're going to see more people probably double cover Kevin White, and for that to happen, I think, is not a good thing. So I think that's definitely going to be a problem for the Bears, and that might also give Jordan a chance to possibly lead as their running back. So again, there's some positives that possibly that'll help the run game, but I think that's also going to be more attention focused on Alshon Jeffrey going in to Sunday's game against the Indianapolis Colts, which I think a great chance for them to, like I said, I think there's a very strong possibility of this team getting back to 500 before they have to meet up with the Packers for Thursday Night Football on October the 20th. So I think, there's a chance, and I think this team can do that. But now with this injury, that puts them back a little bit. And will they be? And again, they've got the injuries just keep piling up for this Bears team. That it just seems like nothing continues to go their way. And I mean, we'll see but I think this is going to put more pressure on Alshon Jeffrey being the lead receiver and to see where it'll go from there. But as of right now, I think that is not a good sign for the Bears. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not even sure what his totals were this past Sunday in the win. I'm gonna go to his thing here and see if I can find it. But But I mean, he did have some good catches against Detroit, right? So I think that's a tough one for him and for this team. So Kevin White is put on. I'm not even on here. I don't even know. I give up. But so a tough break for the Bears there, and I think that might hurt them. And also Carson Palmer hurt now for the Cardinals, which I think I have them as being one of my deep playoff picks. And again, their season hasn't gone right as it is, and now all of a sudden it just hasn't gone right at all, period. So I think that's the problem, and we'll see. And I think that's going to be big for them as well, because they need Carson Palmer to try to get that team focused together. Larry Fitzgerald, of course, a lot of people thinking this is his last year. He denied it, but I still think he's going to be the guy. He's trying to get as many touches as he possibly can, and as of right now, I don't see the. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but I think it'll be interesting to see what really pans out for Carson Palmer and this team. But again, like I said, the Cardinals haven't had a good year. It's just like with the Bears, riddled with injuries, and you need your quarterback. And again, NFL's especially this year, taking concussions a lot more seriously, because that could affect guys long after they're out of the NFL, and that goes right back to hurting the NFL. So that happens. So tough break for them. And then there's some of the injury news that has come out today in the NFL, and of course, then will continue to come out until the week begins. And of course, there's Thursday Night Football coming up tomorrow. Not sure exactly who's in that, but overall, I think you got to be. I think the Bears, and of course, we'll be previewing that on Friday. We have a lot of stuff to preview on Friday as we finally get ready for the Major League Baseball playoffs. And, of course, the Bears on Sunday. So you got Cubs on Friday and Saturday. Then you get a chance to enjoy the Bears on Sunday. You might not enjoy the Bears as much depending on how the Cubs do and depending who they're facing, who we'll finally find out tonight and be able to finally talk about that tomorrow. But I continue to, and I think we're going to break that down a little bit more in a little bit. You can hear the new Silver Lake theme song. It was the train. Now it's sirens. It seems like every day someone's getting hurt or killed around here. But probably another clown sighting. Is everyone hearing about that? The clown sightings going around? Now, for a guy, and I talked about this if you get a chance to watch my live show I do with Tony called To Be Announced on Facebook every week. We made it very clear that I'm not a fan of clowns, and that and all these clown sightings now they're threatening people at recess, and it's very, very weird. And for me not being a clown guy, and I said if they come anywhere near where I live, I'm out. I'm not going to deal with no clown. And I do my running and walking early in the morning, and if I all of a sudden see a freaking clown walking right by where I'm at, I'm not going to be too happy. It's not going to be fun. And it'll probably scare me crapless. But, I just find out this whole clown thing, and I'm sure this is going to keep going on until after Halloween, because I think everyone thinks, why make people's nightmares come true? I mean, it's stupid. It really is. So I think I've wasted enough time. We're 9 minutes in. We're going to go a little over 3:30 today because I had technical difficulties getting this on today. So we still got some recapping. We're going to recap the AL wildcard game from yesterday. We're going to preview the NL wildcard game for tonight. And like we said, that is a big deal. And I'm going to break it down a little bit and see where this team goes and who would be the better fit. I think I talked about it. I did my playoff predictions again yesterday. I will break them down a little bit more today. So we'll see what happens. So let's before we get into all the baseball stuff, let's pause for the Windy City Sports Minute. This is your Windy City Sports Minute for Wednesday, October the 5th. Well, the playoffs for the Major League Baseball started last night in 11 innings. A walk-off 3-run homer by Edwin Encarnacion puts the Blue Jays in the division series to face them rivaled Texas Rangers. That'll begin tomorrow afternoon. Then for the National League side, the wild card game will kick off to see who the Cubs will play Friday night at 8 p.m. at Wrigley Field. It'll be the Giants being hosted by the New York Mets. Madison Bumgarner at 15-9, Syndergaard at 14-9, They'll be going at it. He's on the bump for the Mets. It's a 7 p.m. start on ESPN. That is your Windy City Sports Minute. Now back to Windy City Sports Talk. Welcome back here to Windy City Sports Talk. That is the Windy City Sports Minute. It's not really the Windy City because, well, there's really no Chicago stuff going on. It's kind of on a standstill until we have the action-packed weekend. But let's talk about what happened last night, the American League wild card game. The winner faces the Texas Rangers starting Thursday night from Arlington. It was a game where early on Jose Bautista leaves there. I mean, that place was loud. I mean, you could tell even they had the roof open last night, which I thought they would have had the roof closed. But they opened the roof last night, and and it didn't really matter. That place was still loud. Jose Bautista hits a home run in the first or second, makes it 1-0 Toronto. Baltimore gets a 2-run homer, but I forgot who it was that hit it. Makes it 2-1. They tie it up. Then it goes to the 11th inning, and a no doubt 3-run homer by Edwin Encarnacion puts the Blue Jays in the American League Division Series as they'll face the Blue Jays, which so far I'm 1-for-1 on my on my playoff picks. And again, part of me doesn't want to be right for the Division Series because, like I said, I got the Cubs being ousted in the Division Series to the San Francisco Giants. But besides that, I think right now, you look at this, I think this is what it was made to be. I think Baltimore's just that team every year that gets, like the Pittsburgh Pirates, which they didn't make it this year, but the Orioles are the team that always can fight and scratch and claw and get to the postseason and get to that one-game wild card and not get past that. I mean, a couple of years ago, they made it to the American League ALCS. I want to say, well, who was it against? I forgot. Maybe it was against Boston. I forgot. But anyway, they were able to get there, but they have not been able to make it to the big dance. And I was watching a New York show yesterday, and they were talking about how it just has been a really rough career, a rough run for Buck Showalter, who's the manager of the Baltimore Orioles. And he left the Yankees right after they went on their long run to win championships. Then he left the Diamondbacks right before they won their title. So it seems like wherever he's been, they get good after he leaves. So maybe that's a sign that Baltimore should let him go, and he could be a part of then the Baltimore Orioles can finally get there. But again, bad break for them. A lot of people being suspicious about why their closer Zach Britton, who was like 47 for 47 in saves, was not in that ball game. And I mean, I can understand him from a point of you want to save your closer because if you get a lead and you want to be able to hold that lead, you want your closer in there and save him for if you have a lead. So I guess I understand him on that point, but a lot of people are wondering, well, why not put him in that key situation? And again, it was 1st and 3rd and 1 out. No one was thinking Edwin Encarnacion was going to drive the ball out of the ballpark. They just thought, okay, just do a suicide squeeze or do whatever you got to do. That wasn't the case. He hit it out of the yard. But I don't think, I kind of back Showalter there because you got to think, hey, here's your opportunity to possibly to use your closer, but I don't think so. You use him when he's a closer to win a baseball game. Like, I don't see the Cubs are going to be using Aroldis Chapman but apparently he's told Joe Madden that, hey, he's going to be the guy to, he's comfortable now doing 4-out saves, which I think would be big. But for Showalter, if I'm a manager, I want my closer in there when you're in the lead. It doesn't help you. I never understood that. Why bring your closer in a tie game? Except if you're the home team, because then you're walking off. But if you're the road team, like the Orioles were last night, you don't want to waste your closer on that. It's just not wasting because you're trying to win the game, but you still want to save your closer for if you can get a lead. And that is a pretty good lineup. I mean, they have a bunch of heavy hitters, and like we said, they had a lead. They had the opportunity to win. But unfortunately that wasn't the case. So a bad break for Baltimore, and Toronto moves on, and we get to see that infamous series. And I'm sure for the next couple of days, even though that series starts tomorrow, you're going to get a good chance at the look of seeing Jose Bautista get run in the face, or get smacked in the face. So, because of course, everything that happened between those two teams was really interesting. Obviously, last year with the bat flip that we saw 100 times, and then you get it to where you see the, and you get the chance to when you see that, and then of course earlier this year with the hard slide between Rougned Odor and Rougned Odor and get punching Jose Bautista. So I mean that right there, when you put that in order, you really it makes for an exciting series. And I said I want to see the heat. I want to see what these two teams, when the playoffs are on the line, that's where the crowd's going to be loud. Now, of course, Jose Bautista is like the most hated player in baseball, no matter what. Now giving him the opportunity to we'll see how he handles it and see how he does. Again, that series will start in Arlington tomorrow. I believe the same time we go on the air tomorrow at 3 o'clock, which should make for some fun baseball. Let's see if I can get it here. I believe tomorrow is the 2 American League games, because tonight's the wild card. Yeah, 3:30. It'll be a 3:30 start, so it'll actually be starting right after we're done. And then following that, Cleveland will be hosting Baltimore. Not announced yet is Toronto starting. Of course, we'll be previewing these games tomorrow. Cole Hamels for Texas. And then Boston and Cleveland. It's going to be Porcello against Trevor Bauer. Now, Cleveland, I don't think they have the pitching to be able to advance. Like I said, and I already went through all my playoff picks, but I think, I don't know. We'll see, but I think that's going to be a fun series. Again, Texas, they're another team. They seem to be able to get to the big dance but not win it. Scott Beatty, when he was on the show on Monday, you heard him say, okay, he's going to go against the grain a little bit. He's going to pick, he says, he said he picks the Texas Rangers to make the World Series, not the Boston Red Sox. I have the Red Sox Giants, and obviously that could my World Series pick could end tonight. And I didn't pick a winner, because if I get that far, and of course I'll pick a winner, I mean, if I'm right. Do I want to be right? No. Because obviously I want to see my team win a World Series. That's like if you took me to held a gun to my head and said, what do you want to do? Or who do you want to pick? Them were my gut instincts. My gut doesn't fool me, or doesn't lie to me much. When I have that feeling, I've done it numerous times. I've texted people when the Cubs were in a bad situation, and I'm like, okay, they're going to get out of it. I feel it, and they're not going to get out of it. And about 95% of the time, I'm right. So don't let it fool you. So definitely a lot of stuff there. But I think it'll be interesting to see how that series pans out. I think the American League should be interesting. And, of course, the National League playoffs as well. Let's go through again. Of course, if you folks did not tune in yesterday, my playoff picks real quick. Okay, so now this is what it was. These were my playoff predictions to the World Series. And this is what I got for the American League. Again, yesterday, Orioles, Blue Jays. I picked the Blue Jays to beat the Blue Jays to win and advance to the Rangers. So far in my playoffs, I'm 1 for 1. Tonight, I have the Giants beating the Mets and coming to Chicago to face the Cubs. Then you look at the American League Division Series. Rangers, Blue Jays, I have the Rangers advancing. And then Red Sox, Indians, I have Red Sox advancing. Then in the National League Division Series, I have the Dodgers beating the Nationals. And then my upset pick of the whole playoffs, I have Giants ousting the Cubs. And I'm not saying in 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. I just think that they should only be having to face Madison Bumgarner once. So we'll see if that'll be the case, and it should be. And of course, and if they even have to face him, if not, the only guy they have to worry about is Noah Syndergaard, really. Because again, Bartolo Colon, because again, they can't set their rotation yet. Because again, the Cubs don't have an opponent, so you got to think probably tomorrow at the latest that they're going to try to get their rotation together. And you got to think either Syndergaard or Bumgarner will be starting Game 3 at home Monday against Jake Arrieta. Then for the American League Championship Series, I have Red Sox Rangers. I have the Red Sox winning and advancing to the World Series. And then Dodgers Giants, which I think would be a fun series to see. I have the Giants upsetting the Dodgers. I have a Red Sox Giants World Series, and we'll see if that'll be the case. Obviously, a lot of things can happen. I don't want that to be the case. I want my team to win. I want my team to be able to Celebrate. Everyone says they're the best team in baseball. Calm down. But when you're a Cub fan, you always expect the worst. Then maybe that's what I'm trying to do, some reverse psychology, where I'm trying to say, okay, my team's not going to be able to win. We'll do it next year. And then just see where the heck it takes us, because you never know. And there's strong possibilities that this team could go all the way. I think for a successful season for this Chicago Cub team, they have to at least make the World Series. You can't have 103 wins, be the best team in baseball, and not make it to the big dance. So at least end that hex. 1945 was the last time they made it to a World Series, and I think next year there's really no excuse. You get Kyle Schwarber back, and this team's back on track. I think that's what you need to focus on. And we'll see if that'll be the case. But that's my Red Sox-Giants World Series. And with the Mets win tonight, my World Series for the National League is already gone. And then I could shut up. Okay, so that's that. Let's talk about the game tonight. Game 163 between the three-time World Series champions, San Francisco Giants. Madison Bumgarner 15-9 tonight at a 274. Noah Syndergaard 14-9 with a 260. That game's a 7 p.m. game on ESPN. Now, when you look at this, it's going to be a pitcher's duel. So is this going to be the kind of game? And I think it might be. Whoever gives up the run first is going to. Whoever gives up that run first is probably going to lose. And whoever scores first is going to win. I think Madison Bumgarner, and it just seems like every time I get a chance to tune into one of his starts, he gives up a couple of runs in the first inning. And of course, this game being played at Citi Field in New York, so I think if the Mets have any chance, I think get to him early. Again, their offense isn't as dominant as last year. The guy that was on that team, Daniel Murphy, he's in the other series with the Washington Nationals. So he's a guy that, and I think he's got a strained butt muscle or something, so he's not 100% as of right now. But I think right there, I think you got to think that this Mets team, I think, with Noah Syndergaard on the bump, is going to get him there. But then, not a lot, and again, I watch a lot of New York talk shows, and they pretty much say, I don't think they have a feeling that they're going to go in there and dominate, because they were the hot team. And they're kind of the hot team right now. I listened to a Chicago radio station today, where they said if you really want to kind of probably face the Giants, because right now the Mets seem to be that hot team. And again, whoever wins this game is going to have some momentum. They're going to have fun. They're going to celebrate, especially the Mets. The Cubs being off from Sunday, not having to play till Friday, they're the last team to play in the playoffs, because obviously the team that they're facing, they're playing tonight. So when you put all that down there, when you look at the Giants, and I don't think as of yet there has not been a lineup announced for either team tonight. Let's see here. See if I can get a preview. Tonight, Bumgarner. Don't think this is this the lineup? I believe these are the lineups tonight. Here we go. For the Giants tonight, leading off and playing center field, Denard Span. Batting second, first baseman Brandon Belt. Batting third, catcher Buster Posey. Batting fourth, right fielder Hunter Pence. Batting fifth, shortstop Brandon Crawford. Batting sixth, left fielder Angel Pagan. Batting seventh, second baseman Joe Panik. Batting eighth, third baseman Connor Gillespie. And batting ninth, pitcher Madison Bumgarner, who also has 3 home runs this year, but so does Noah Syndergaard. Here's the New York Mets lineup. Batting first and third base, Jose Reyes. Batting second and playing shortstop as Asdrubal Cabrera. Batting third, left fielder Yoenis Cespedes. Batting fourth, center fielder Curtis Granderson. Batting fifth, second baseman TJ Rivera. Batting sixth, right fielder Jay Bruce. Batting seventh, catcher Rene Rivera. Batting eighth, first baseman James Loney. And batting ninth, pitcher Noah Syndergaard. When I look at that Mets lineup, it seems like Jay Bruce has been getting hot as of late. He's probably the guy you're going to have to watch out for. I think most likely you got to think that right now he's been hot, or he's been able to. Again, a lot of these numbers with the Cincinnati Reds, but 33 home runs and 99 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, which obviously don't matter. But I still think he's the guy he's getting hot. And also James Loney, who, if you remember the 2008 playoffs, he hit a grand slam against the Cubs at Wrigley Field, and he dominated them. And I think that lineup, if you look at the two lineups, the more fierce one, I think it looks like the Mets. I mean, if you can get through Posey and Pence, I think you can get through that lineup of the Giants. And I'm not, but with that Met lineup, it just seems like they got a little bit of everything in there. And you got more names that you'd know. Household names is the name I'm looking for, or the word for the Mets. Matchup wise, let's see here. Career batting average against Madison Bumgarner. The most at bats is 21 by Jay Bruce. He's batting 143, a home run, 4 RBIs. For Noah Syndergaard, the highest batting average is 506 at bats. Denard Span's 0 for 6. Buster Posey's batting 506 at bats. No home runs or RBIs. So I think when you put all that together, I think it's going to be a close matchup. It might be one of them 1-0 games where you're not really sure who's going to come out of there. And I think it's going to be a great and fun pitching matchup. And knowing that the Cubs are going to have to face one of these two guys Monday at their home ballpark. There was an interesting stat ESPN put out today that the Giants have never lost I think they're 7-0 with Madison Bumgarner starting on the road in the playoffs. And I think that's a very fierce number, and obviously they're the road team tonight. So that's going to put them on notice a little bit. So I think right there, this is going to be a fun matchup, and I think it's going to be one to enjoy. And I think the Cubs are going to be glad because, again, it was a year ago. It'll be a year ago, actually, on Friday, where the Cubs had to be in this game, and you were just excited to get that extra chance. Now you know. Now you're the team waiting to find out who's got to come into Wrigley Field and beat the Cubs on Friday and Saturday night. So it's, like I said, going to be fun. Two very good throwers. Obviously, my prediction, I said, is the Giants. I think they're going to win tonight. I think Bumgarner's going to be stellar. Noah Syndergaard does have that playoff experience from last year, but Bumgarner, again, the Giants, for you that don't know, have the even year is their thing. They've won a World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014. This is 2016, which leads you to believe, possibly, and they're going to have their, and of course they lose tonight, then there goes that. So, right there tells you it's going to be some fun storylines. It's going to be some fun matchups, but I think you're going to see a lot of strikeouts. And if you're a fan of baseball and you like the pitchers' duels, I think that's what you're going to get tonight. Tonight's going to be a pitchers' duel, and in a very pitcher-friendly ballpark in Citi Field, I think everything should be okay. It should be fun. So Giants, Mets tonight, one game, and we'll finally have an opponent for the Cubs, which we've been waiting for 3 weeks. So, shall be exciting, and of course the National League playoffs overall begin tonight, but the series begin on Friday. The American League playoffs begin tomorrow. Preview for tomorrow, we're going to recap the National League wild card game, preview Game 1 between the Blue Jays and Rangers. That'll be starting just right as we end tomorrow. And then you'll have the Game 1 between the Red Sox and Indians tomorrow, and we'll break all that down coming up on tomorrow's show. Also, other news, Denzel Valentine of the Bulls, sprained ankle or sprained foot. He's out for 2 weeks, which still should give him time to be able to be ready for the regular season. Because hopefully you don't want to start them injuries early with the Bulls. So we'll see what happens there. So that is your Wednesday show. Again, the Blue Jays win last night. They advance. They face the Rangers tomorrow. We'll be previewing that tomorrow. And, of course, you got the NL game tonight, Bumgarner and Noah Syndergaard. I say a 1-0 Giants win if I'm calling it into Vegas. But I'm not. I've never gambled on a game legally. You always, you always do them bets with friends. Yeah, that's about it. So that's going to do it. I'll be back tomorrow recapping that, talking about the Cubs' new opponent for the division series. That's it from here. Enjoy baseball tonight. Enjoy one heck of a game. I'm Ryan Young. Have a great day, Chicago.